I also plug in my computer. Hey, how's it going? We got YouTube up here. We got Instagram down here. I'm going to plug in my computer. Good morning, Pro Fitness and Sarah and Starburst MB and Terry and hey, Linda, Mama Isi, Holistic Ginger and 2 others. Keto Celia. Good morning, guys. Hey. How's it going? Hey, hello, Wendy. Good morning. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to post. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm going to do the things and the stuff with the pinning of the comments and the things. Yeah? All right. Pin and comment. Today is another keto Q&A. So if you have questions for me, keto-based questions, personal questions, any sort of question, I will answer them. I have questions that were submitted beforehand. So if you guys are quiet, that's cool. I have some questions to get through if you're not sure what to ask me. Marissa Davis Art says, love your podcast, by the way, such great info. Thank you. I'm really excited. I think it's episode 170. Where we're starting a thing called guest takeovers, where I've invited some of my closest friends to take over the podcast. So I gave them the mic and they dropped a bunch of knowledge bombs, and we're starting off with Christina Kerp. And I'm just so excited. So I'm very interested to know how you guys like the new format. It's not going to be all the time, but I just have a couple of really good friends that I really, really love hearing from. And I just thought, like, here, take the mic, take over, do what you want to do, talk about what you're passionate about. And I'm pretty excited to give them the platform to just like speak their truth. And I'm not giving them any outline. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. So you'll have to let me know what you think. Sherry Berry says, good morning. Lisale says, good morning, Miss Sunshine. My sister's nickname is Sunshine. That's pretty cool. Good morning, Leanne. Good morning, guys. Okay. Love the new cookbook. Cool. You are Amy is chatting about this bad boy right here. I keep it beside me at all times. I've been doing keto for Keto Diet book. Oh, geez, what is happening? Clearly, I didn't brush my hair this morning. Let's just like fix that and then not touch it. There we go. I've been doing keto from your book, the Keto Diet book, with classic keto for 3 weeks. I think I need to be more patient, but scale isn't budging much, and I've tried eliminating irritant foods, reducing stress. Okay, so you're talking about this book, yeah? It can take some time, but yeah, it can take some time. It really depends on your hormones. The ketogenic diet is an endocrine-based diet, which requires your hormones to be pretty on point in order for it to work properly. And not just your hormones, like your sex hormones, like estrogen, progesterone, but also insulin, glucagon, leptin, ghrelin. So be patient with yourself when it comes to your body and keto. It's just going to take some time. But if you're feeling good and your brain feels so much better, these are all really, really good things. You got to look at things outside of just your weight loss. Okay, before I answer any more questions, I also have to tell you guys about the sponsor for today's episode, who is Perfect Keto. If you use the coupon code COOKBOOK20, you get 20% off all full-size items at perfectketo.com. Now, this coupon code is only good for one time. So if you're thinking like an all-out fest of ordering all the Perfect Keto stuff, use COOKBOOK20 and you're welcome. Okay, more questions. Cupcake Queen 1970 says, listen to your podcast every day at work. I started at episode 1. I cannot even believe how long the podcast has been going for. I think we're celebrating our 3-year anniversary here in the fall, which is so cool. Thanks so much for listening. And if you guys don't listen to the show, you can find it by going to any podcast app and searching for Keto Diet Podcast. It should come up just fine. Okay, I seem to feel best on around 20 to 30% carbs, so not exactly keto, maybe a little more carbs than fat fuel. Do you think I can still get in primary fat burning state? Yes, you can. Okay, I'm going to be referencing this book right here. I just love that I can reference my own work in a physical form. This is just, it's such a gift. Okay, so I'm going to find the page that you can use. Okay, page 50 of the Keto Diet. outlines all the profiles you could potentially use to get into keto. I know there are many, many more that I just haven't discovered yet, that people haven't discovered yet, and all different variations on all of this. So you want to look at the daily fat burner right there, daily fat burner. And that will give you all the answers, at least some of the answers that you need to feel confident in the fact that your body just requires more carbohydrates. And that's not to say that years from now, you'll still need the same eating style. It's constantly evolving and constantly changing with our bodies. So right now you need them, later maybe you don't, maybe in future you'll need more protein or less protein. So just roll with the punches. And I think it's such a gift that you know what's best for your body now. So if you're feeling great and you're feeling awesome, that's great. The daily fat burner fat fuel profile gives you 5 to 20% carbohydrate in a day. So that gives you a lot of wiggle room and will probably align with what you're doing right now. So the daily fat burner fat fuel profile is what you want to look for. Now, this is ideal for individuals with health imbalances, such as thyroid imbalances, adrenal dysfunction, or candida. Great for children, vegans, people who find it extremely restricted to be in other ways of eating keto, people who want to pair weight loss with body healing, people who want to take it day by day and not have this like all out stretch goal of like eating 20 grams of carbs for the rest of their life. You're welcome. So yes, totally okay. Your cookbook is great. Bought one for my daughter. Are you referring to this one, Sandy? Thank you so much. That's so great. Thank you. I hope you both are really, really loving it. Good morning. I'm about to make your coconut cardamom porridge. That recipe is on the website. You guys can get it by going to healthfulpursuit.com. It was actually inspired by a recipe I made in India when I traveled there for my 25th birthday. I went to India for, how long was I in India for? A couple months. And I went to a cooking class with a girlfriend that I had met at an ashram that I was staying at. And we took like an all-day cooking class and we made this like amazing porridge with cardamom and honey and rice noodles. Like it was these like rice-based noodles and it was so good. And I actually have the recipe on my website, like a really carb-heavy porridge. It has like millet and amaranth. And so I was going through old blog posts. I'm like, wait, I loved that porridge. So I ketofied it, made it keto, tasted very, very similar. And so you can get that at Healthful Pursuit. It's on the homepage, so just go there and you can check it out. So delicious. Holistic Ginger, yes, more energy and been in full ketosis. Then you're doing great, girl. Keep up the good work and just see where your body takes you. There's so much more to keto than weight loss. And I think when we step outside of that, we can really, really see all the gifts that it can provide us. And it's a pretty special thing. I used to be strict keto, but I could not sleep. What was I doing wrong? Pursuing natural. Okay, so in my book here, I'm going to look in the index because I don't exactly know what page this is on. But I talk about sleep. I talk a lot about sleep in my upcoming book, Keto for Women. You can find out more details about that book by going to ketoforwomen.com. We talk all about sleep, how to make it better, what steps to take to improve your sleep, all the things. Sleep, page 41. 41. No sense in reinventing the wheel here. Okay, so sleep. I talk here about carb ups. It goes directly to the carb up page on page 41 of the keto diet. In this page, I'm just talking about the benefits of carb ups. So if you have bad sleeps on keto, what's often the case is that you're just not eating enough carbohydrate. And I experienced this like really, really, really bad. When I was about 6 months into keto, I stopped sleeping, like completely stopped sleeping. I was up for multiple days. I think it was about 5 days where I just didn't sleep until I binged on carbs and then had the best sleep ever. I highly don't recommend like pushing it until you're that far gone that you just binge on carbs and then you're like in a sugar coma. Probably not the healthiest thing to do, like just mentally and psychologically, really. But when we have a carb up, so a carb up is where you eat keto all day and then at night you take out the fat of your meal and you put in carbs. So think of it like a swapping. So by doing this, you're providing better sleep, you're experiencing better sleep and more serotonin. Eating carbs at night helps us prepare for sleep by increasing the brain's uptake of tryptophan, the protein found in poultry that's so often credited with causing post-Thanksgiving Thanksgiving dinner sleepiness. Tryptophan is also used to create the neurotransmitter serotonin. So eating carbs at night helps boost serotonin, which leads to improved mood, better sleep, increased weight loss, increased fat loss, better post-workout recovery, and better immune health. And the improved sleep we get from eating carbs at night benefits insulin sensitivity. That is a good thing. So that little excerpt is in this bad boy. Awesome. I've lost 20 kilograms on keto, but recently have gained about 3 kilograms. It could totally be because of your cycle, Sarah. I wouldn't worry about it. We can gain and lose I like to say an average of 10 pounds up and down throughout our cycle. But I've been known to do 15 depending on a bunch of different things. But I'm going to show you how to make this better. So if you're still cycling, like you still have a menstrual cycle, you haven't experienced menopause. Where is this darn thing? I thought it was on page 20 something. Hold please. The benefits of live television. Okay, so in the Keto Diet Cookbook on page 24, I go through how to cycle your keto with your hormones so that you don't have as many horrible experiences throughout your cycle. I talk about the moon cycles, how to adjust your keto throughout the moon cycles if you don't have a period. This is really helpful. If you don't have a period, you can use the moon as your guide. And then the macros to follow throughout your cycle. So again, that's page 24 of the Keto Diet Cookbook. I'm referencing a lot of my books today. You guys can just go to ketodietbook.com. I've put it in the little comments here, ketodietbook.com. It's the pinned comment on Instagram. And you guys can find out all the information about all my books. Good morning from Indy. Are you saying like Indiana? Is that short for Indiana? Sorry. I listened to the most recent podcast. You talked about feeling pressure to eat snacks since starting keto. I feel like there is pressure not to be hungry. Thoughts? Okay, there are like two camps on this. One is like, if you don't eat these certain things, you can't be successfully keto, like exogenous ketones, MCT oil. Is that it? Like those are like the big ones, I feel like. And all the different bars and treats and things, like they'll boost your ketones and all the different supplements. There's a lot of pressure there. But then on the flip side, there's a lot of pressure of like, you shouldn't have snacks. Snacking is bad for you. And if you're snacky, you couldn't possibly be ketogenic. I just like snacks. So I'm still going to eat snacks. But I think that when you have a little snack, it's not a matter of just having some celery and nut butter. It's like, well, if I'm going to snack, I better spend $5 on the perfect, amazing keto product because it's going to boost my ketones more than celery and nut butter will. That's all I was talking about. But thanks for having me clarify. That's really helpful. Okay, I have some questions here too that I want to answer. The first one is from so I seriously don't know how to say her name. I'm sorry. Yeah. When should a woman try carnivore? My immediate reaction was never. No, just kidding. I think that if you're having a bunch of digestive issues and you can't get to the bottom of it, carnivore could be good. In the interim, I haven't met a lot of carnivore women enough to say that carnivore is great for women. I think that if you're cutting out, if you're like, okay, of all the keto folk out there, I'm probably the most lenient of all of them. Like, I recommend that you include all of the food groups. I'm not crazy about sugar. If I'm going to a restaurant and they have regular meat, I'm not going to worry about the hormones in the meat. And I try to just have a more balanced outlook so that I don't go mentally crazy with my diet. So if there is an eating style that completely removes an entire food group like carnivore does, it's not something that I, at this point in my life, could mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically manage. I think that would be quite triggering for me and for a lot of people, especially those that have experienced a lot of diet mentality throughout their lives. I think that there are other things that we can do as a collective to improve our health without having to cut out complete food groups. And I think it works great for some. And a lot of the people that are promoting carnivore that are carnivore are like the strong men type, like ages 30 to 45, big muscle men. And that was the struggle that I had when I started keto. Is back in 2014, me and I think Maria Emmerich were the only two women on the internet and in books talking about keto. And so we both have a very different view on keto. And that's what is amazing. You guys have so many options of information you can take in. But I think a lot of the times it becomes like there's so much information that, like, I've had questions posed to me and I'm like, how are you even asking this question? And they're like, well, I took it from here and here and here and here, but not understanding the core fundamentals of how the body works, then a lot of things get confusing. So sometimes there's such a thing as like too much information that stops us from just like listening to our bodies. So if every day you wake up and all you think about is eating meat and you just like love eating meat, then like eat meat. That's fine. But I think putting labels on ourselves and cutting out full food groups can sometimes lead to stuff that we didn't plan on. And I think if it's unnecessary, like AIP, autoimmune protocol, if you don't need to be AIP where you cut out a bunch of foods, please don't. There's no need for it. I went AIP for a while to just figure out what I was sensitive to and found out that nuts was a really big one for me. So I try not to eat a lot of nuts, but I don't put it as like never eat nuts because then I'll eat all the nuts. That's just the way we work. So to answer your question, when should a woman try carnivore? When she's tried all other options and they haven't worked. If you're waking up and you're craving meat all the time, eat it. But I watched a carnivore, somebody that I really love, talk about carnivore yesterday. And she said, on carnivore, if you're craving other foods, just eat more meat. And I'm like, I don't know. Like if you're craving a salad and you're just like, oh my gosh, all I want is kale right now. And it's like, better eat more meat. I don't know. I'll leave that to you. But I just think life is too short. Okay. Is it a concern to consume grain-fed animals? Okay. We talked about that yesterday in yesterday's live. Okay. Let's check up on your guys's. I fell off the wagon and I'm having a hard time getting back on and staying with it. What can I do to stay motivated? I love how I feel when I'm eating keto, but that doesn't seem to work. Okay, I actually did a podcast episode on this, so I'm just going to search for, I go to Google, like for my own website, because I don't even know my own website. And Google, I say Healthful Pursuit Wagon Podcast. Getting back on the wagon. Okay, it's episode 40. 40. So go to your podcast player, look for the Keto Diet Podcast, and check out episode 40, talking about the fear and guilt when you fall off the wagon and how to look at things a little bit differently. So I hope that's helpful. Good morning from Northern VA. Hello. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Keto Celia, you are great. So great that you focus a bit more on us women, as it seems to be a bit different. Do calories matter in your opinion? I've been counting them for 3 months. Slow down. We actually chatted about calories, I think in Monday's live or Tuesday's live. I get confused. You can find all these lives on YouTube. Just search YouTube for the Keto Diet, Healthful Pursuit, or even just Leanne Vogel should bring it up just fine. And there's a little list there with all the QAs I've done, Q&As rather. But yeah, I feel like I like to think of calories as energy. So, if you were to eat 100 calories of cookies versus 100 calories of nut butter, well, that's going to be totally different. So in that sense, calories can be quite deceiving. But if you're setting the intention to eat a whole food-based ketogenic diet and you're trying to use calories as a gauge to your portions, I think that's totally fair, because especially when we eat keto, if you're a volume eater, if you eat like a cup of nut butter, it's very different than a cup of iceberg lettuce, which nutritionally they're different, but I think it can be helpful for portion management and understanding. And so in this book, the Keto Diet Cookbook, I used calories as a guide for portion management inside a whole food-based nutritional ketosis program. Okay, so that's why each of the recipes have this little guide at the top. This is a small meal. This is a medium meal. This is a large meal, and you can see the colors and the index changing. This is a huge meal, and all that is based on your calorie intake, and then you're given a little outline to tell you how many small, medium, large, and huges you can eat in a day based on your calorie goal. So I think it's a tool, but it's not the be all end all, if that answers your question. So that's from this baby right here. My voice is almost back, but it's still a little bit rickety. Losing slowly is totally okay. In fact, naturally speaking, a pound of weight loss a week is actually a really good place to be. So if you're losing 4 pounds a month, that's actually really, really good just from a health perspective. And so that your skin doesn't get all saggy. You know, when we lose a bunch of weight and our skin gets saggy, that's usually because, now it depends how much weight we lost, but that's usually because we just lost weight too fast. Your skin can keep up. It's just if you lose it too quickly, you're going to have saggy skin. You pre-ordered Keto for Women. That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. It helps so much. It tells bookstores to take me seriously and make sure that we print enough books and make sure that you actually get a copy. And it just helps me sleep better at night. So thank you. I increased my carbs and that's what helped. I think you're talking about your sleep. That's awesome. I just want to make sure. Oh, are you always in ketosis? This is a good question. Me personally, no, I'm not. Am I fat adapted? Yeah. So usually, based on the hormone guides I just showed you about how to adjust keto for your hormones, there's probably about 2 days a month. I don't know. It's so hard to tell because like sometimes there's months where I just eat keto and I don't really think about it. And I just go ups and downs, but I'm always in a ketogenic state. But like my birthday, for example, was like a whole weekend of eating non-keto foods. And then I just went back and ate keto when we got home. When I visited my sister in Ontario, we had like 2 nights where we ate quite a few carbs and I wasn't testing my ketones. So maybe I dipped out of ketosis for like a day, but went back in. So it's not like this thing where we just constantly, my hair, I should have brushed it before this. Oh my gosh, don't judge me. It's not like this thing where we always have to be in, otherwise the world ends. So don't stress too much about it. Is that info in the Keto Diet for Women book too? Okay, so I think you're referring to the Syncing with Hormones. That specific page 40, I think it is. That is in, or what page is it? Oh, I always forget. I need to like memorize this page. That info, page 24. This info is in Keto for Women. It just goes into more detail. So I felt it was helpful to have the hormone protocol in this book because we're talking about meal plan and adjusting, and it was important to have it in this book, but I go more in depth in Keto for Women. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up to your guys' questions. Fat bombs, are they key to snacks? Yeah, I love fat bombs. Tasty. I've been carnivore-ish for a while. It helped me pinpoint inflammatory foods, but I'm slowly adding green veggies, carb up plant oils, and I feel fantastic. Oh, awesome, Keto Poop. That's awesome. That's so great. I love your non-dogmatic approach to keto. Anybody got time for that? Soybean or edamame pastas. Kevin eats black bean pasta and he really likes it. I don't really like it. I wouldn't really eat it. It's like super high in protein, high in carbs. It always makes my stomach hurt. I can't do a lot of beans. If you're craving a salad, eat a salad. Yeah, I agree with you. Please make a keto vegan book. That's probably not going to happen. I mean, never say never, but like, I don't see that in my future. Sorry. What are your thoughts on desiccated liver? We talked about that yesterday. So definitely go to YouTube and check that out. What else? What app do I use to create your stories and page images? I work with a designer, and he's been working with me for 6 years, and he just designs little things for me. And I do a lot of my own stuff too. I use Photoshop. But when I get really stumped and I can't figure it out and I'm frustrated and I don't have time, I ask Lelaku to do it, and he's really awesome. Do you have sweetener substitutes for corn-based sweeteners, erythritol? I use stevia if I don't want to use corn-based, which is erythritol. Xylitol is a good corn-free option, but it has birch. So if you're sensitive to birch, then don't eat it. Let's see, what else? My gosh, there's so many questions. This is awesome, guys. How do you stay encouraged versus overwhelmed with all the things? That's a great question. When I get overwhelmed, I know I've been on Instagram for too long. And I know I've been listening to too many podcasts. So I like step away from my phone. I spend a couple days, sometimes a couple weeks, like not taking in information. I go on like a fast of information. And that's really helpful. How often do I personally take electrolytes? Every day, every morning. I have my tea. It's chamomile right now because I'm trying to chamomile. Sorry. I'm trying to fix this little voice thing I got going on, but usually it's decaf Earl Grey because the bergamot oil in Earl Grey tea helps with autophagy, which is the turnover of cells. What's the best thing to do about sugar cravings? Eat more fat. If you're like having a crazy sugar craving, it could be a sign that you're just too low in protein. Or you could have something sweet like berries and see if that helps. That usually helps me. It's usually I just want something sweet, and berries usually do the trick. Apple also does, and that's been really helpful. What are my thoughts on celery juice? I think it's very expensive water. I have an autoimmune condition, so I combined AIP and keto, and I'm experiencing such a boost to my health. But if you don't have to be that strict, I totally agree. Don't do it. I totally agree with you. Yes, AIP has a role for sure, and it's been helpful for a ton of people. Thank you for clarifying. But if you don't need to be that way, please don't. Found that I'm allergic to eggs, and flax eggs don't seem to bind the same way. What are some options in place of eggs? Gelatin egg. Go to the Google machine, type in Healthful Pursuit gelatin egg. You're welcome. Hello from Spain. Your recipe book is the best, easy peasy tasty. I like it. Hello from Orangeville, Ontario. You are fabulous. Your books and podcasts have changed my life. Thank you, Val. Hi, Leanne. I have your first book. Before keto, I was having digestive issues, constipation, and after 8 weeks on keto, I'm still struggling. Digestive issues and constipation. Patty. Do I have? No, I'll just tell you. Constipation supplement with magnesium. I take magnesium oxide at night on an empty stomach with water. Excuse me while I drink more. And that can help get things going. Start small, work your way up so that you don't get like crazy diarrhea pants. And digestive issues. Have you looked at dairy? Like, were you eating dairy before? And are you eating dairy now? Look at dairy. Yeah, I would say that those are my 2 tips for you right now. And let me know how you do. Pre-order in Spain is so expensive. Well, thank you so much for doing it. That's awesome. Thank you. That's amazing. You rock. How can I achieve positivity to control my binging habits? The first thing I noticed in your question is that you said you want to control your binging habits. If you go from a place of control, you will never gain control. This is the thing that I've learned after experiencing bulimia. You can't control. Like, if you go into your food and your life by wanting to control it, you will just binge and whatever nonstop. So highly recommend going to healthfulpursuit.com/whole. That's WHOLE. I developed a 21-day program for people that struggle with this very thing of feeling like they can't control food, but by having control, they lose control and they just can't get their footing. So that's healthfulpursuit.com/WHOLE. Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure. I've been eating keto, tracking food, exercising, sleeping better, and drinking water for almost 2 full months. No weight change. I'm 40, overweight. It's so frustrating. Huzan, it's really hard to answer complicated questions like this. And that's why I have Happy Keto Body, because like, it takes a lot to like delve deep in what's happening. I totally get your frustration. And I know how helpless it can feel when you feel like you're doing everything right and you're not experiencing what you want to experience. But that's really an opportunity to really get real with your body. And clearly she's trying to tell you something. And clearly she's not feeling like she's aligning with what you want out of her. So this can be a very nourishing time of just trying to figure out what your body needs and if your body can accomplish what you want it to. That's another thing, is like the realistic expectations is a really big one. Like I know that if I want to, the two cannot coexist for me. If I want a really healthy body where my hormones are on point and my mood is better and I'm just a better human being overall, I can't be a size 6 with 6-pack abs and arms that like they jiggle. And that's the body that I have to have. Oh, I guess Instagram couldn't see the jiggling. Woo, jiggle. This is the body that I have to have in order to be as healthy as I want to be. And so having those realistic expectations of how you want your body to look versus how you want your body to feel, sometimes you get to a crossroads where you have to decide. And I made a decision, which was terrifying. It was terrifying. I wanted to put my health first. And that was really, really scary. But you can do it. What's a good brand of collagen? I don't have a favorite. I will use anything. I like Primal Kitchen. I like Great Lakes. I like Equip Foods. The only one I don't like supporting is Vital Proteins. I don't enjoy supporting that company. I feel like their prices are way too high. Their quality doesn't align with their prices. And I don't enjoy supporting that company. That's about the only one that I don't support. But other than that, all of the collagens out there, I enjoy. Okay. Any keto meal? Okay, we talked about that. I remember you posting about bras can be bad for us. What do you recommend instead? I just wear loose fitting like bras when I have to, like honesty time, ladies. I only wear bras when I know that I'm around people where when they see my nipples through my shirt, they like feel very uncomfortable. And I know that it's not my role in life to make others feel comfortable about my body. I know that very really, but when I'm in like a marina like this and there's service guys coming and going, it just like makes them very uncomfortable. And then it makes me uncomfortable. So that's when I wear these like loose fitting bras that I got at Fabletics. But if you're looking for bras, the best thing to do is look for organic, toxin-free bras. I don't know a lot about it because when I'm not in places like this, I just don't wear bras. And I'm a D cup, so my breasts are rather large-ish. I mean, not the largest out there, but like I have gained the muscle I need for my breasts to just like sit normal in a shirt and not feel like uncomfortable without a bra. There's a question about kids, which I think is so great. I've actually been getting so many questions about our life and the fact that I'm 33 and Kevin's 37 and we don't have kids yet, and like a bunch of questions about that. Are we planning to have kids? It was very clear early on in our relationship that Kevin and I both did not want children. Not because we don't like kids. I used to work with kids. I enjoy other people's kids, most people's kids. I just have never really had any interest in having kids on my own. I just don't think I could. I know the person that I am, and I don't think that I could dedicate my life to another human being the way that I would want to if I were a mother. So I'm the type of person that really puts her all into something. And I just don't think that I would be well suited to put my all into another human being like that. So it's unfortunate that my sister also doesn't want children, because I would love to be an aunt. But it's not, I don't have any interest. Yeah, so that's our piece about that. And I think that there's a lot of shame about that. Like when I tell people, a lot of people say, oh, you're young, you could change your mind, or they try to make me feel weird about it. And I've had a lot of people say, like, thank you so much for being normal about this. And yeah, it's totally a normal thing. Don't stress over it. Like, if you don't want kids, don't have kids. And I think that it can be a sensitive topic for women that can't have children or struggling to have children. And I totally understand that struggle. But I think it's very important for us to be real with ourselves and ask ourselves what we want. And I've just never wanted kids. Just like when I wanted pink hair, I got pink hair. And when I wanted a boat, I figured out how to get a boat. And I just don't want kids. I think it's very important for us to know what we want out of life and stay firm on that, but also know that your ideas can change and just be fluid. Okay, I have a call in like 4 minutes, so I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can. We are your kids. You're taking great care of us. Yeah, see, guys, like if I had children, I couldn't dedicate myself to, like, I really, really feel like when I experienced an eating disorder and I almost died a couple of times, both in treatment and out of treatment, I really, really feel like I was kept on this earth to do something really important. And I don't like to say that my work is important, like whatever, but when I'm working on my books and I'm writing and I'm dedicating myself to my work, I really, really feel like this is what I was meant to do. And I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to myself and others if I chose to alter that path right now. Awesome. We didn't need kids in this world right now. Haha. We don't need more kids in this world right now. Yeah, like I think that if we were to, and Kevin and I have had this conversation too, if we were to want children, we would adopt. And my dad was adopted, and it's always meant a lot to me. I used to work with adoptive kids, and I think it's just, for me, that would be really cool. Okay, so I need to jump on this interview thing that I'm doing. I'm sorry I didn't get to all your questions. I'll try to do, actually, Keto for Women, my new paperback book that's coming out in June 18th, is going to be sent to the marina that we're at right now. So I'm hoping to get it on Tuesday. So as soon as I get the book, I will go live with it. I'll hold it. I'll probably cry. It'll be a very emotional experience, and I'll show you guys inside the book. I'm so excited for this. I'll definitely be live next week. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a great weekend. It's a long weekend in Canada. I don't know if it's a long weekend in the US, but I hope you have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next week with another couple of lives. And if I didn't get to your question, copy and paste it somewhere special, and we'll try to get to it next week, okay? Okay, bye.